Hi guys, if you're watching this, this is for week of April 20th. This is the Of Mice and Men assignments for this week, and these are the end of unit assignments, so they're kind of bigger, and they might look familiar if you've been keeping up with the work so far. So I'm going to go through this overview that I sent you guys, right here, and then I'm going to give you some examples of what to do or just kind of walk through the expectations. So in this end of unit project, and I call it a project, but I broke it into 3 assignments. You will have 3 assignments to complete. An allegory sheet, you can do this as a document, you could do this as a poster, and I'll talk about that. A theme poster, or again, it's a document or a poster, however you want to look at it, and an argument essay. You can also choose to draw out or do collage or do something like on paper or other tangible items and take pictures and upload those. That's totally fine as well. So you're gonna have 3 assignments this week. The first one is the allegory activity. Now this should look very familiar, and if you already did this, you don't have to do it again. So this was given to you guys about 3 weeks ago, and then I've given you time since then to work on it. So that's assignment number 1. So for some of you guys, at least 4 of you guys, you will not have to do that again. You already submitted it. Assignment number 2 is the theme poster, and assignment number 3 is the argument essay. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit. Your objectives. So this is the objectives that I kind of just wrote up for you guys so you had an idea of like, well, what's the expectation here? What is Miss Welsh looking for? So now that we finished the novel, we are specifically examining a few things. Symbolism, you're using symbols, themes, text evidence, gathering text evidence and explaining text evidence, and allegory. And so allegory might be a new concept to you guys. So you want to make sure that when you do that assignment that you are paying attention to the links and the definitions and notes that I'm giving you. For writing, you are writing to demonstrate use of detail, sentence variety, word choice, MLA format, and I would underline that 3 times because make sure that you are, when it says proper MLA format, that you do that, and in your essay as well. And then your ability to write argumentatively, that will be mostly seen in your essay. All right, so moving on to assignment number 1, I'm going to go through this and show you what this looks like. This is the allegory activity, and this is actually something I sent to you guys before. At the top of the assignment, when you go into that assignment, it has a definition of what allegory is. It has links for further information if you need it. And then it has the directions. And I put the directions both here and here. So it's the same thing, it's just on both pages. And you have 6 characters: Lenny, George, Curly, Crooks, Candy, Curly's wife. And you have the teacher example. And I already did a whole video on this, so I'm not gonna do it again, but I will re-upload that for you to watch and you to work on. So this is assignment number 1. And again, if you already did this assignment, you're already done with assignment number 1. Assignment number 2 is a theme poster. And I'm going to show you an example that I did and then explain kind of the expectation for this. So you're going to first pick one theme that you find evident from Of Mice and Men. And I've given you guys this little word box here with some topics that you can turn into themes. And you don't have to use one of those, but those are good topics to choose from. You're going to, and you'll be doing this in a paragraph or 2 paragraphs, however many that you want to break it down into. Explain the importance of this theme. So first say, why is this theme important? Why is the author using, or how is the author using it? What universal lesson is being learned? What is the message? And then how does it connect to 3 examples from the book? And these 3 examples could be characters, plot, or setting. And, you can mix up the 3 of them. It doesn't have to be all characters or all plot. And again, this should be written in paragraph format. So not bullet points and not like 1 sentence. Themes from Of Mice and Men. I did an example with loneliness. So loneliness is a common topic for the novel. And so the theme that we put together is loneliness can have negative effects. So loneliness is the topic. The theme is that loneliness can have negative effects. So you have to make sure that, you know, your theme is one, universal, and that people can relate to it, and two, more than just a single word. So respect is a topic. It's not going to be a theme. So what about respect? What about intolerance? So say something about those topics and make a theme. Okay. And so here is my example. I'm going to pan over. All right. So this is my example. And so if you want to do this on paper, you absolutely can. Then, like I'm doing, you could take a video of it and explain it, or you could take a snapshot, take a picture of it and upload that. If you want to, you could use some chalk, go out on the sidewalk and draw a picture. You want to use paint, go ahead and, paint something. Markers, whatever you want to do. So don't feel like you have to do it in a Google Doc, but you absolutely can if you want to. So this is what I have come up with. I have at the very top the theme. Loneliness can have negative consequences. So that's, make sure that that's clear on your poster. And then you want to have 3 examples. I put in red 1, 2, 3. So you can see I have 3 examples, and I've even in the green said, hey, examples, examples, examples. So my first example is Lenny, and that Lenny is trapped by his mind and his body, and that he just can't kind of reach people or the world. As you see, in the world, it's kind of in this clear box that he just can't get to, can't really connect with. And so he's shackled by his strength and trapped by his mind that doesn't let him relate. And then we have Curly's wife in the middle. And I said she's throwing caution to the wind. And that's kind of my symbol, that throwing caution to the wind. And you can do symbols, you can do drawings. I kind of did more drawings than symbols, although there is symbolism in there. Because she's, very reckless with how she behaves. And then my third one is setting. So I didn't do all characters. I did setting too, because remember, you plot, setting, and characters. And so that migrant life, how everything is very, sparse and open, and just, not a lot around, and not a lot of connectedness, and barren, and how that can affect that loneliness that people feel. And then underneath that, I didn't do a complete paragraph. But I gave you some sentence starters. So I started with a topic. So make sure your first sentence is very clear, that if I didn't know what you were writing about, that your first sentence makes it very clear to me what you were talking about, what you're doing. So I said loneliness is a universal theme that pretty much anyone can relate to or empathize with. Left unchecked, loneliness can lead to some very negative consequences for the lonely person, and maybe even those around him or her. The setting itself deals with the theme of loneliness, and then I would go into how, and I do so I didn't explain, but you need to explain, well, how? Another example, so there I have my transition. Another example is Curly's wife, who is so desperate for attention, Okay, well, why is she desperate? What does that lead to? Remember going back to my original idea that it has negative consequences. So how does it have negative consequences? And then my third example from the book is, and I would talk about setting. I kind of ran out of room. You can already tell my poor handwriting is so bad. Is setting, and then I would explain setting. So I'm explaining my images that I came up with, my symbols or my pictures. I'm relating it back to the theme. I'm explaining why that theme is universal and what it means. And so here this is your opportunity to show me that you understand how themes work, how themes in this book were introduced and used, and make sure that it's about 8 to 10 sentences. So it's a long paragraph, but it should still be about a paragraph. I'm not looking for a page or 2 here. I'm looking for 8 to 10 sentences. So if you want to break that into 2 or 3 paragraphs, that's totally fine. If you want to just do one long paragraph, that will work as well. Just make sure you are organized. Okay, you can double space this, make it nice and neat for me. And you can always do separate picture and writing, or if you want to do it all together, just make sure either read to me what you wrote or pan through it so that I can zoom in or see what it is you wrote, and my poor eyesight doesn't totally break down on me. Okay, so that's an example of assignment number 2 with the theme posters. And then going back to the overview of the assignments, the last one is an argument essay. And this should look familiar too, because this comes from your questions that I think I want to say chapter 6 questions, but it could be chapter 5. And it was in those questions. So you're going to make an argument essay based on this prompt. Was George justified in killing Lenny in the end? So you have to either defend George's decision, or you have to oppose his decision and explain why. And I have requirements, so make sure that you follow the requirements. Right, you have to have a clear thesis statement in your introduction. You need to have details and examples. You need to have a rebuttal, so you need to anticipate the other side of the argument and basically say, like, here's the other side of the argument, but here's why they're wrong. And it should be about 1.5 to 2 pages, double spaced, 12 font, Times New Roman. And I am including an MLA format rule sheet. So if you forgot some of the rules, if you need a reminder or a refresher, just check out the MLA format rules sheet. It's not too long. It should be clear. It should help you with figuring out how to set up your paper. And then I have structure for you as well. And I will make another video that will go through a little bit more in detail about how to build an essay. So if you're struggling, I can do that for you. And then again, so this is going to break down into the 3 assignments, 1, 2, and 3. And you're focusing mainly on allegory, theme, and symbolism as well. Well, I shouldn't just say those things, but those are maybe the things that we're learning or getting more in depth with. And obviously your writing. All right. So I will be back with another video. And if you have any questions, just let me know, reach out. And yeah, so hopefully you guys get started and get this turned in as soon as you can. Okay, I'll see you guys later.